What's up?
Ooh.
Yes, thank you for your patience. We had to basically, well, I had to redo all the cams on all the scenes, and it took a little bit more time than we would have liked. But we're here and we're ready to play, and we have wild magic channel points open and ready to go. But before we do anything, I'm hoping this goes through on stream. We had a submission that I can't exactly have running through on the art channel. So before we get to anything, I'd like to listen to a little song by the one and only Krakus. Let's see if we can get it playing on here. Let me know if you guys can hear it on stream.
Sure.
And hold on. Turn the volume all the way up. Doodles.
Do, 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 do.
Can you hear? Okay, cool.
Do, 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 do. And here's to you, Mr. Morning Shade. Adrian, to your friends who are but few. Hoo, hoo. You're such a dick, Mr. Morning Star, strutting round like you're some highborn fae. Hey, 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 hey. Standing at the job board in a village for a while, looking for adventure by yourself. Look around you, there's an angry tiefling at your side. She wants to view the job board for herself. Get out the way, Mr. Morningwood. Damia has an angry eye for you. Woo-hoo-hoo. Well, look at this, Mr. Morningboner. Now you've got a partner with whom to play. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. Coming to Rustwater, you come across another pair. Another tiefling and a dwarf. Grumbly's mighty weapon makes you feel inadequate. So you lash out and insult the tiefling race. Well, fuck a duck, Mr. Morninghorn. Now truly has an angry eye for you. Woo-hoo-hoo. When will you learn, Mr. Morningcock? Or Truly's gonna blast your arse away. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey.
Oh dear me. Utterly brilliant.
Wow.
That was beautiful.
Dude.
Oh, Krakus.
My God, that kills me every single time.
Thank you,
I've played.
Krakus.
Krakus, please never ever change. And please keep doing exactly what you're doing. Never change. You have a mind made of gold. Oh my God.
Perfect for this community.
Yeah.
That was beautiful. It was beautiful. Hi guys, how you doing? Before we jump into stuff like previously on, real quick, I'm gonna.
Hey, how's it?
There we go. I'd like you guys to check out the links that I just posted in chat. We're going to create individual ones for each player in the future. But for now, we have them grouped together. We have Aquafire, we have Mucky McFly, and we have Evolved Evil. They are my co-players here in the D&D stream. And we have our one and only Aldous, whom has been my PUBG sensei, has been a friend since the very beginning. He even has stories of, my original streams when I tried playing Dragon Age. And I say tried because, honestly, I just sat there and talked to him and like 2 other people, like the whole stream. But I would like to start.
And tried to bang everybody.
Yeah, yeah. There's a clip. It is
So
known.
typical.
Yeah, I mean, I am not ashamed of my life. I'm so ashamed. It's so cute. So I want to start just kind of going in order. Aqua, if you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, little bits, just as a player, as a person, and then we'll go down the line because we are basically all, other than Eldest, we're all streamers as well. So you can go ahead and check out the link, but you can go ahead and talk about some of the main points, like about your stream, about you in general. I'd like to start doing this on a regular basis for anybody who might be joining us that could be new and want to get to know the players a little bit better.
Righty. Well, I'm Aqua. I do mainly variety streams. So, I mean, right now I'm very deeply obsessed with
Oh, no.
Red Dead Redemption. So, I've been playing mostly that on stream. But sometimes I do art and other stuff. And you will hear me snorting. That is 100% genuine. And I do it a lot.
Yep, and you can go ahead and find that on the twitch.tv /Aquafire. And that's her. Mucky, would you like to talk about yourself a little bit?
Well, what's to know? I'm basically your bitch. I live in events in Penny's room. My day's spent making content for Penny. Occasionally she hires me out to Aqua to do stuff. It's pretty much my life.
Wow.
Help me, please.
He also is a streamer.
Yeah, sometimes I stream.
He also streams.
Mainly Phasmophobia when Penny allows me out the vent.
So go ahead and check him out. He does some really good streams. Lots of Phasmo, little bit of that pirate game, Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves. There we go. And then I
need a crew really.
I'm sorry, I actually went out of order alphabetically, but I kind of went where my screen is. So Evolved, if you would like to.
One job.
I like how I didn't prep you guys for this either. I didn't tell any of them that we were doing this to prepare anything like a spiel for themselves at all. I sprang this on them right now.
Nope, she just throws things at us, literally and metaphorically. Yeah, so I am Evolved Evil. I'm a variety streamer. I play a lot of FPS games, party games, adventure games. Have been branching out into some RPGs lately. Most recently, Dragon Age Origins. I just started that yesterday. But I play a bunch of different things. I'm kind of evolving, no pun intended, the games that I play and present on stream. Just like to have a lot of fun with people, and that's about it. I appreciate getting prepped for this. It was fantastic. Thank you for the heads up.
Yeah. This is all raw, like organic material here. Like none of this is prepared.
Yep.
And I mean,
unsatisfied
it's
with
the
our
usual level of professionalism we've come to expect, to be perfectly frank.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe she was unsatisfied with our role-playing skills, so she put us on the microscope today and just sprung this on us. Like, here, go.
Yeah. This is just the stream now. There's no D&D. You just talk about yourselves for 2 hours.
Yeah.
One night. Yeah.
Like I have lunch I need to finish, so if you would, I'd actually be.
Yes, we will. Yes, actually.
Did you poop?
Lots of that, actually. Yep.
It's honestly the reaction. Somebody's like, "Go ahead and talk about yourself." Instant poop. It's just like, I'd like to talk about how I just poo-pooed.
Go right ahead. Improv something about your life real quick while I, fade away.
All
I have to do is say your name. You guys do the rest.
No, 9 already redeemed wild magic tier 1.
Ooh.
Well, we knew that was going to happen.
Oof. All right.
Yeah.
Is that because I'm better than you? It is, isn't it? That's very strange.
How's that song go?
Yeah, if only I could play it.
There's a lot
Wait a
of
minute,
fun things.
I can sing it.
You can sing it. Go ahead.
No, I'm not gonna sing it.
We'll wait.
I've done enough singing today.
Go
Ooh,
hashtag redeeming
Hashtag-
tier 2.
Ah,
Damat. All right.
It's gonna be a busy day.
We'll go ahead and jump straight into previously on, and then opening animation, and we'll go right into it. Hey, it's me, Penny. So last week it was a short session. We finished up rescuing the sheep. We killed the kobolds, and the very last of them, we ended up getting horribly depressed, and it was a struggle just to carry on. We moped quite a bit. We almost didn't finish off all the kobolds. The last of them ends up running off, and Demaya ends up chasing after him, and about to sadly kill him, loses her depression just in time to see a mysterious figure pop out and kill the kobold herself, I think. Herself. And she said that this area belongs to the wolf. It was spooky. It was interesting. It was mysterious. And then the figure, shades away. Demaya comes back, tells the team. The team returns the sheep to the farmer. And then we go and meet the townmaster, who is kind of a poo. The one thing that, Adrian and Truly seem to agree on is that the guy is a little bit of a poo. So then they decide to go and grab a bite to eat before their next mission. And then they became Valley Girls, all of them. Truly had soup spilled all over, and that sucked. And then I think we left it off at just being Valley Girls. Yeah?
You basically all went to bed, I think, having been Valley Girls. Yes.
Yes, we went to bed as Valley Girls. Like, oh my god, it was so much fun.
And it is probably worth mentioning, just so people know, that you leveled up too.
Yes, we leveled up. Because we're champions at gathering sheep. Opening animation. Sup. All right. Just before we get right into session, and letting Aldous take away the storytelling with his mad DM skills, I would like to thank Krakus again for the song, and sharing the lyrics with us. I'd also like to thank Hashtag for the art that he made for this for last week's session. And for anybody who feels inspired by this week's session to please, you are fully encouraged to share your art with us in the D&D art channel. And it will be, as you can see now, it will be on our next week's D&D stream, where we can all enjoy it together. I have loved every bit of art that has been made for these sessions so far. And I am very excited to see more in the future. So, with that, I will let our wonderful DM take it away.
All right. So, effective as of the last session, then you found yourself in the broken ingot, and after what can only be described as a slightly confusing day where you at one point got horribly depressed, you saw strange things in the woods, you found out that Adrian has a bit of a strange affinity for sheep, you turned into Valley Girls for some reason despite nobody really knowing what a Valley Girl is, and you find yourself asleep in the Broken Ingot, having been offered free lodging for the drink that was spilled all over Truly. And obviously, as the night progresses, you find yourself dreaming. And I'm going to start with Truly. Truly, what does Truly dream about, do you think?
The dream kind of starts with just scenery and turns into confusing images about sometimes members of her new companions, sometimes back doors that lead to nowhere. Sometimes it's about a sheep screaming in her face, and then it just kind of cycles through images that are like that, and then she has a really pleasant image right before waking up of her parents, and she feels a little bit of that bittersweet, love, missing her family dearly, especially being presented in this new social situation with somebody like Adrian Morningwood. So yeah, so she wakes up feeling a little bit of love and a little bit of sadness, missing her family.
Okay. That is fine. And what I will say is a little bit before you return to that sort of comforting dream of your family, some of those confusing elements of the dream kind of really seem to sort of start stirring some emotions in Truly, right? And there are these like flashes of color in your dream as well, as you kind of dream, and you find it quite difficult to kind of figure out. You find it kind of difficult. It's like something out of your control. There's these flashes of color kind of moving through your dreams almost at random, but you find that when you settle on dreaming about your parents, and that there's that sort of sense of calm that you spoke of kind of coming over Truly, and the kind of flashes of color kind of slow down, and actually you find that if you think about them you can kind of control what they do, and they kind of move around, and you can almost make them change color, and they become something that you sort of start to play with a little bit in your dream, and then sort of like decorative things in the dream, and when you wake up you find that you have been dreaming, but you have found that part of the dream has crossed over into reality, and you find like this glowing, crackling orb of color is kind of hovering in the air before you, and if you kind of reach your hand out you find you can manipulate it, you can change its color, different kind of textures seem to ripple across it, you can move it around, and you start to think maybe this is something I could use, maybe this is something that I could, and at one point you decide to experiment with it, and you kind of knock it into the wall, and you find it leaves like a scorch mark there, and you think, oh, this is definitely something I need to investigate a bit further, and you have kind of unlocked through your sorcerer's powers the spell Chromatic Orb. So let us turn now to let's turn to Demea. Demea, what do you think Demea would start dreaming about?
Well, she's definitely gonna start dreaming about the moment that she walked in and found her mentor dead on the floor, and she'll be caught in this like loop dream slash nightmare where that very rude cleric from the Justice Temple or whatever was just accusing her, and she'll be like having one of those dreams where she wants to hit him but can't hit him, and just in this constant frustration of wanting to let out this anger but not quite able to.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. And what you find as the night kind of wears on and you're having this sort of restless sleep where you're really, really angry, and you find this is kind of building up and building up, and you kind of find yourself in this loop, right? You walk into the room through the doors, and Gorion is kind of dead before you, and the necklace is kind of clutched in his hand, and the hand falls open, and you retrieve the necklace like you did before, and then Master Lemuel storms into the room and pulls you away from Gorion, and he hurls you through the doors out of the room, and you find yourself in the room with Gorion lying dead, and then the necklace falls from his hand, and so on, and your anger builds and builds and builds until you really think you can't control it, and you almost feel like you're kind of losing control at this point, until something shifts in the dream, and Master Lemuel pulls you away from Gorion, and he hurls you through the door into the same room where Gorion lies dead before you, and his hand opens, but it's not the same necklace. Instead, a symbol of a unicorn, the same holy symbol that you wear, appears in his hand, and there is a flash, and you see a vision. You see a vision of forests burning. There is terror, there is destruction. Armies of faceless, dark creatures swarm about over the land, and in the distance you can hear the howling of wolves. Clouds start to gather overhead. Lightning flashes in the clouds and then begins to strike the earth. The rain puts out the fires in the forests. The lightning scatters the shadowy hordes away. And with each strike, you feel like the anger within you is ebbing away and turning into like almost an electric charge you can feel. You see in the distance a range of mountains far off, and a light glimmers there, and a voice, a female voice, stern but not unwelcoming, echoes across the landscape, and it says, "You will learn." And you wake up. What do you think Grumbly would dream about?
I think Grumbly would fall asleep, clutching his mighty weapon, slightly twitching like a dog every now and again, as he dreams about that meal he had earlier. Just thinking about food, where his next gold piece is coming from. Pretty much sums him up tonight.
Okay, yeah, absolutely, and I think as you dream, Grumbly, you find yourself thinking about gold pieces and food, and your mind kind of leads you back to a point where you had those things in abundance, and you find yourself walking through your old home. There are ostentatious paintings and statues lining the place, plush carpets on the floor, oak panels on the walls. This is a set of halls you've walked many times before, with the faces of dwarfs looking down on you in stone and in paint. You can see in front of you a set of opulent doors leading to your family's chambers. But another door catches your eye. It's one you don't remember. It's rough, it's wooden, it's stained. It looks like it's been struck by weapons. You stride over to it, and you open it and find a long corridor in darkness behind it. And you decide to see where this corridor leads, and as you stride down it, out of the darkness on either side, dwarves appear, and they step out to where you can see them out of the dark. They're faces that you recognize from the statues and the paintings, but here in the darkness beyond the stained, broken door, they're rougher, they're scarred and weather-beaten, and each of them, as you pass, claps you on the shoulder and gestures for you to continue on your way. And you stride into the dark, feeling a sense of affirmation somehow, and then you wake.
Oh, what a weird dream.
Adrian, what do you start dreaming about?
I start to dream of battles of the past, destroying evil that surrounds the world, and seeing silhouetted figures of what he perceives to be his family. You know,
Mm-hmm.
flashing in his eyes, and in his mind. Never quite clear, but it always goes back to battles and fire.
Absolutely. And as you dream about those battles and as you dream about that fire, there are flashes of gold and of red, and there are screams as well. There's a scream from a woman, and it's joined by the scream of a child, and they're screams that seem familiar to you. But as you hear those screams, suddenly your dream changes. You find yourself alone on a wind-swept plain of black rock. You can only see a few feet to either side of you. And in the gloom, a figure appears. You can't tell much about it because this figure is encased from head to toe in a full suit of armor. It carries an enormous spear that seems to glow faintly with a blue light. And it speaks to you in a booming voice, and it says, "You have the power to defend those who need it. If not you, then who shall it be?" When you hear something, and from over your shoulder, a second figure appears. This figure wears a black tunic over a long grey robe, has gloves of soft black leather, and a dark red sash around his waist, and holds a large double-headed axe at rest in his hands. He has a shock of brown, ruffled hair and intense grey eyes. He stares at you, and he says, "Violence repays violence, and evil repays evil. Good repays good. The evil of the world has caused you great pain. Strike it down. Strike them all down." At which point the figure in the armor responds and says, "You could not be there for them. Blind vengeance won't restore them. Be there for others." There's another flash, and you're no longer on the plain of black rock. You find yourself in a forest clearing. 2 tieflings and a dwarf are battling kobolds. Spells fly around, powerful weapons clash. You stride across the clearing and slide your sword across a kobold's throat. It falls, but as it screams are those of a child. And at that point, you wake up.
Wipe some sweat off my head and my brow. I look at my hands as they're trembling. I sit there for a moment and I breathe. And think about everything that I have just seen.
Okay. So Adrian, I'm going to say that you have woken up first. What are you going to do now? You had this dream and woken up. You find yourself alone in your room.
I'm going to go out to the town square and walk and reflect.
Okay. So you find yourself in the town square. Okay, the sun is just coming up. It's glinting on the upper branches of the grove of trees that borders one side of the town square. You can see a couple of people at work in shops over on the town square. There's already the sound of like a bellows being pumped in the blacksmith shop, and you can hear some sounds of planks of wood being moved about from the carpenters. There's no sign of life from the town master's house, but I suppose somebody like that doesn't necessarily get up very early. The well sits in the centre of the town square, and obviously you're able to kind of stride about and think for a while.
Yes, I'm going to walk around and just listen to the sounds of the world around me, the environment. I'm still shaking and sweating from the dreams and the nightmares that I had had the night before. I say to myself, what does it mean? What is this? Who were these people? Why don't I remember? I don't remember.
Grumbly, while Adrian is brooding brutally in the square, what would Grumbly do as he wakes up?
Grumbly wakes up, has a nice stretch, feeling very smug about his nice dream, feeling very happy about the world. Scratches his belly. Breakfast. Breakfast it is. And he heads down to try and find something to feed himself.
All right. What sort of thing do you suppose Grumbly would order for himself?
Something
Left to his own devices in a bar to order breakfast. What do you suppose he'd go for?
Bacon. Lots and lots of bacon.
All right. So absolutely, you speak to one of the waitresses, and before you know it, an enormous platter of bacon and bread is set before you, and you're asked for a couple of silver pieces, please. So if you can subtract that from your inventory, you can be heartily tucking in. We'll leave you there, Demea.
Demea's gonna kind
How's
of like.
Demea feeling?
Demea is feeling very shaken right now because I mean the dream started out horrible and then it just got very bizarre. But she'll be like absentmindedly fingering the holy symbol on her necklace, but at the same time kind of rummaging through her stuff to look at the wolf pendant that she found that she hasn't told anyone about, and just just trying to make sense of what everything meant, and like is a little shaken because she doesn't want to be involved in anything major. She just wants to find out what happens to her mentor.
Okay. So absolutely, and while she's pondering the necklaces, okay, presumably she spent some time doing that. Wants to find her mentor, but what's she gonna do after that?
After that, I think she'll take a deep breath and slowly make her way downstairs, even though she's not actually hungry for anything. She's just doesn't want to sit in her room and brood.
Okay, absolutely. You find your way into the common room of the bar, where Grumbly is doing his best to drink through the morning stocks of ale, whilst tackling a platter of bacon and bread about as big as his own head.
Hey, Tiefling, join me.
Hi, good morning.
Hey, do you fancy some of this? It's good. It's real good.
I'm not all that hungry at the moment, truthfully.
I think your friend's outside. He looks rather brooding, though. Not sure if he wants any company with his morning brood.
So the usual, basically.
I barely know him. I thought you were friends longer.
Well, I mean, we met because we had an argument over who wanted to read the message board, and he was kind of rude, and I basically traveled with him because we were going the same way. So I'm not sure we'd necessarily call each other friends.
I don't know.
What
Seems
about
like
you
a
and
pretty
Shirley?
cool guy. Oh, truly saved my life. I'll tell you.
Oh, yeah?
Her and her magic fingers. Oh, yeah. Saved me from getting my head kicked
Magic
in.
fingers?
Yeah. Firebolts. Sparkly things. Do you possess these skills as well?
I have some magic, yes.
Sounds interesting. Tell me more about the magic you can do. Because, to be fair, the way we was adventuring the other day, we made a pretty good team, I thought.
Yeah. I mean, I have some healing abilities, but I can also kind of conjure like thunder and stuff, which is pretty fun.
I remember hearing about some gods that could do that. I thought that was all folks' tales. Sounds interesting.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah. It sounds like something I wished I could learn, you know, a hammer and thunder. Don't know. It just kind of fits in my head. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I do because I mean I do have a warhammer, and yeah, I think it fits very well.
That's amazing. What you need to do is combine these together. You could be mighty warrior.
And at that point, you hear the sound of feet on the stairs from behind you, and Truly has emerged from her room and entered the common room as well.
You can kind of see a conflicted emotion on her face, maybe not super clear about what the emotion is. There's a little bit of excitement, but also panic. As she just spent the last like 15 minutes trying to clean off the little scorch mark off of the wall in her room because it would be just another reason why she got in trouble because of her magic, and how just being who she is and what she is. So she comes down, orders some tea and bread and just some basic stuff. She orders a little bit of like supplies like carrots and potatoes, and some basic seasoning to travel with, and she sits down kind of next to Grumbly and gives a nod over to Demaya. How is your sleep?
Yeah, epic. How was yours?
Confusing. I it's weird how sometimes you study to learn and sometimes things just come to you in really confusing but beautiful ways.
Yeah, that sounds like when my father told me about puberty.
And she starts laughing. She just she's gonna go, it's exactly
Even
like
Demea is
that.
gonna chuckle about that. Like,
So
yeah, like I remember the first time I figured out how to use Thunderstruck, I kind of destroyed a nearby statue in the temple, and they weren't very happy with me.
I mean, how did you feel about the statue?
I didn't really like it. That's why my mentor told me to aim for it.
we should find a bard and write a song about your thunderstruck.
I think my uncle traveled with a bard for a while. Maybe I'll write him and see if we can work something like that out.
Sounds epic.
But
So you don't want any of this bacon then, Truly?
no. I'm good with what I
This is
have.
why
I
this
have.
is why you'll never be big and strong. Bacon is the secret.
Truly's gonna nod and say, I got some stuff for us to travel with so that way we can make sure that we're fed even if we do get stuck outside during our adventures together, if we do choose to continue to travel together.
I think we made a pretty good team. And besides which, this wolf thing that happened, I'd like to investigate that. Maybe there's some gold to be made.
Kind of has an involuntary shudder at the mention of wolves.
Well,
Feeling uncomfortable there?
I had a weird dream. I don't know if I want to talk about it just yet, but it was weird.
Well, I'm all ears if you want to tell. Or you could go and tell Broody out there.
oh,
And snap
think
him
it
out
had-
of his mood.
Honestly, I feel like if I just go to him, he's gonna say some insulting thing about tieflings not being able to read or something, or next
Yeah.
he'll ask me if I can dance or not.
Yeah. He's kind of a dick. But I mean, at least
I
he
think he's
knows what
pretty
he's
cool.
doing. Well, I mean, yeah, he was handy to have around in a fight, I suppose. But
Handy.
And
Yeah.
at that point, the
See
door to the
that?
bar opens. And
More.
there, standing broodily in the doorway, having been brooding for some time. So he's had quite a lot of brooding practice.
good morning. Morning.
Morning.
Hi,
Shade.
Broody
You
McBroodster.
try it sometime. You could say it.
I
Morning,
said
Shade. You could-
good morning. I'm not
Hmm,
obliged to say your name if I don't
Right.
feel like it.
Adrian walks over to the bar and orders a single shot of whiskey for his breakfast.
For which he is charged 2 silver pieces. You can mark those off your inventory.
Mm-hmm. So I was out walking. Once I woke, I ran into Faradin. He wanted to know if we were going to be coming to see him today. All of us.
Does he have another job for us?
He may. He didn't give me any details other than that. What do you say?
Sounds.
Are we going to go see Faradin together? Are we splitting up?
I think we made
How
a
do you
pretty
feel?
good team today. What do you think?
I agree with that.
I
I do
That's if
agree
we
with
can.
that.
I wouldn't mind having companions if I'm going to be going up against any mysterious figures in the woods. I suppose.
I have no
Oh,
issues with it. I
Old
can-
Sparkle Fingers here. She'll say it off. No problem.
And she kind of gets she gets a very friendly, warm smile towards Grumbly, and then just the smile like immediately drops to her face as she looks back over at Adrian. She just stares at him.
Adrian reaches up to scratch his eyes, and with only one finger. I feel the same to you as well.
Truly just doesn't do anything. She just sits there and stares blankly at him. Just doesn't give him the
DeMeo.
reaction.
The mayor, what say you? Will you be joining us?
Yeah, I suppose I can join you.
Well, I mean, you don't sound too confident or too thrilled about that. I mean, do you
Yeah.
want to?
I'm really hoping I find out what happened to my mentor, and I kind of don't want to be sidetracked, but this might help.
Yes, that intrigues me greatly. I have great interest in this and learning more of it.
Oh,
I would like for you to join
Um,
us.
I'm more than happy to help you as well. You got some mad skills.
I appreciate that.
She feels like a moment where she actually feels like emotions, and that or strong emotion, and like tears spring up to her eyes, but she tries to quickly wipe them away before they can see it.
Truly doesn't really respond to any of it. She just kind of looks around the table. She's not overly sure about any of this. She knows she likes Grumbly, and Demaya seems okay, but she still doesn't really know what to make of her. She just straight up doesn't like Adrian.
Grumbly's looking at you, looking around at his bacon, and starts to just scoop a little bit more towards him, and just
Like has that little.
When did you all sleep? I can see Grumbly. It seems to be fine. He's, eating,
Flatwell.
drinking.
These pairs
I had
seem
a
to be having weird dreams, but I blame that on the drink.
Well,
Weird dreams, you say?
nothing that we need to get into, of course. But if we're all done eating breakfast, I wouldn't mind moving this along and getting on with our day.
I suppose we shall.
Yep. Grumbly stands up and lets out the most enormous burp. Let's go.
All right, you guys make your way outside to the town square, and of course, just across the way from the Broken Ingot is Faradin's Emporium, and Faradin is already standing cheerfully on the porch, and he sees you coming out of the pub, and he kind of gives you a cheery wave, and he's like, "Ah, my friends," he says, "Are you coming to see me today? I hope you're planning to stay in town and help more."
I certainly am. The gold's good.
As long as there's evil here that needs to be destroyed, I will be here.
Evil.
He looks a little bit sort of worried about the idea of there constantly being evil in his town, but he sort of rallies and sort of rubs his hands together and he says, "Right, good. So obviously, the town master Barden said that if you were able to carry on helping out around town, he might be able to sell the idea of you helping out round here to the Merchants Guild and be able to get you a bit more involved in some of the things that have been troubling us lately. But for now, I have some friends I'm a little concerned for. You did such a good job helping Graben with his sheep that he's already sent me a note saying that he's hoping to have the wool deliveries back on schedule by next week. But he's not the only one who I'm getting a little bit worried about. So there's a local farmer and woodcutter who lives a little northeast of town. Just on the edge of the Meadwood. He normally brings me firewood to sell to the local townsfolk, but this week's delivery is overdue, and he's never missed a delivery in as long as I can remember. With the autumn weather on the way, I don't want to lose out on my firewood business. It's always one of my better sellers. Lest I be overtaken by a crippling shortage of wood, I do need you to perhaps go and check on him. There's also a little bit of a worry with my friend Cadwall. He went hunting in the forest the other day. He'd been having less and less success recently, so he'd had to be going further and further. Something seemed to be scaring away his game. Well, he came back from his last trip and something seems to have really spooked him. He hasn't left his house in 3 days, and he refuses to go anywhere near the woods. So if you'd like to go and talk to him, then that would be, I think it would be a good idea. But Bartholomew's the one who really does worry me, the woodcutter.
Grumbly just starts nudging Truly and whispers at her, wood.
Did you just see her kind of? She like through the whole time he was speaking, she just had a blank expression, and then as soon as he says and nudges her and does it, she goes, and then recovers quickly, but with a smile on her face. We could go ahead and check out the woodcutter.
Yeah. Oh, heading back into these woods. What do you know about this mysterious wolf character?
Who are you asking there, Grumley?
Faradin.
Faradin says wolf. Yeah, you mentioned a wolf last night when you came back. I've never heard of a wolf before. I mean, we get wolves in the forest. What kind of forest doesn't have wolves in them? But I've never known a wolf to strangle a kobold before, and certainly not disappear in front of you.
If any group's going to find out this mystery, it's going to be this lot. I'm ready when you guys are.
I'm all about this. Seems like there might be
Might as
great
well.
evil at this woodcutter.
Truly's
We
going
will
to, underneath
strike.
her breath, to grumbly say, I bet he's all about the wood.
He seems to.
Should we
just
take the
lean
long
in.
path to go and come around from behind in the forest?
I don't
I've
entirely
noticed
know
you
what
two
you're
like to take
suggesting there,
the
sir.
back entrances of places.
There's a
Yeah.
back entrance.
Faradin looks confused and he says no you just need to follow the northeast road out of town, and points to a sort of track leading off.
They know what I meant, Faradin. It's all right.
Faradin, I assure you, I have no idea what he's talking about. We'll go ahead and follow the correct
That's
road.
because she's stupid. That's okay.
Faradin looks confused, but he nods and smiles.
Thank
The
you,
man's just in
sir.
the background, like, don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it.
Well, okay then, he says, and he gives you another cheery wave and bustles off back into his shop.
So she just she rolls her eyes at Adrian and then goes and just starts walking down the path towards Woodcutter.
Grumbly's running quickly behind and tried to catch her up. Truly seems to have a bit of a spring in his step this morning, and his little legs can't carry him fast enough to catch up.
She is going to kind of glance back and see him like moving a little bit quicker than his normal pace, and she's gonna just kind of like naturally start easing back to make it easier for him to walk side by side with her.
And I'll follow behind Grumbly to keep an eye on this Truly, because the weird things happen with her.
All right.
The man's gonna just take up the rear.
Okay. So,
You too?
Giggity.
Oh.
so,
Giggity.
you guys head out of town. You can see the edge of the Meadwood, kind of as you follow this track. You can see it sort of as a sort of dark line in the distance. It's probably about sort of 5 miles or so away, you reckon. The track seems to be like just a sort of regular country road. Really, it's not particularly windy, but it's never dead straight. It's kind of wagon ruts and grass down the middle of it. So you sort of find yourself doing that thing that everybody does, which is you end up picking one of the ruts to walk in, kind of as you kind of ramble along. You find yourself going through fields near the edge of town, and then sort of little patches of forest, sort of as you kind of get a little bit further out of town. You think kind of off in the distance, you can see a few small buildings of the farm where you appear to be headed, and you can see actually around the place where a few trees have been may very well have been cleared, because it's not really field, but it's not really full forest either. But you reckon you are probably about 1.5 miles, 2 miles off from this farm, when you kind of round a small bend in the road, and you find kind of stumbling along the road, you find a woman, probably in about her 30s, with kind of long brown hair that has been in like a bit of a neat plait down the back, but it's sort of a little bit kind of wayward now, in a sort of very simple woolen dress, stumbling along the road, kind of holding onto the hand of a child, probably about sort of 7 or 8 years of age, both of them sobbing uncontrollably.
Truly is going to get a look of concern on her face, but not say anything, so as not to scare them further.
The man's like, what are those tiny things? I don't want to go near them.
Morningshade is actually going to approach the woman slowly, to ask her what she needs, what has happened.
Yeah. she sees you approach, and she's stopped, and she's obviously kind of sort of taken a little bit aback to run into anybody on this kind of quiet country road. A flurry of emotions seem to flit across her face. She seems almost at once kind of relieved, but also a little bit cautious, a little bit frightened, but at the same time, just this hysterical distress that she's sort of almost is trying to talk to you, but she's just, everything is caught up in these sobs, and she can't seem to get like a coherent word out.
Take a moment, breathe. Demea, do you have any water that we could give this woman and her child?
Do you?
The man kind of
You are
cautiously reaches for her thing and is like, I don't want to get near the kid, but here, have it.
Thank you.
go ahead and roll persuasion for me, Adrian.
That is a... That's a 10.
Okay. Thanks to the sort of the offer of the water and everything, she seems kind of convinced that you don't mean them any harm, and she does sort of calm down a little bit, and she takes the water, and she takes a kind of gulp, and she takes a sort of shuddering breath, and she sort of collects herself. But as she collects herself, this kind of wild look appears in her eyes, and she literally grabs onto the front of your tunic, and she sort of and she says, "Please, something attacked our farm. Bartholomew ran out of the forest and told us to run. He said he'd hold them off and he'd catch us up, but he never did. Go and help him, please."
We will go
Hearing that.
and help him. What was it that attacked? What did you see? What did you hear?
I don't know. I never saw. He came out of the forest where he normally does his work and shouted for us to run. I did. We ran out of the front door. Bartholomew was stood near the back door as we ran, but I never saw what happened to him. He just said he would catch us up. He would buy us some time.
Sounds like somebody needs a help.
Yes, indeed.
We must go quickly.
I agree. Although, perhaps me and Truly should sweep round and perhaps do a pincer movement if we come in from behind.
You can
I feel
pinch
like
whatever
this...
you're going to pinch. You should probably just go ahead and figure this out. Scout it out. Find out what's going on. If you're intending to scout it out and get recon, is that what you mean? Is that what you're going to do?
I don't know what recon is. I was just thinking about running in there and swinging at things, but tell me about the concept of recon.
Or we can talk about this later and just go towards this Bartholomew person and help him out.
Okay.
Well, we must do it quickly.
Let's go.
And then she's gonna, as they're walking at a quick pace, she's going to elbow Grumbly and just be like, "We'll totally sweep around the back. No worries."
Sweet.
I'll take the lead here. I'll go in the front as we approach.
Okay, so as you approach, as you get closer to the wood, you can see obviously some kind of neatly tended fields. There's a vegetable patch with strawberries. There's everything like a picturesque farm, like a nice thatched roof on the kind of cozy farmhouse building. The woods kind of stand behind, and you can see some areas where kind of neatly stacked wood has kind of been put ready to be taken off to Faradin. The only thing that spoils the lovely pastoral scene of the flower beds and the vegetable patch and the thatched cozy farmhouse is the front door hanging open. You can't kind of see anyone around as you approach the front gate of the garden fence of the sort of the farmyard, and you don't immediately hear anything either.
Truly's going to pick a strawberry and eat it.
Okay, so you find yourself in the farmyard with truly standing, presumably quite nonchalantly, munching on strawberries.
Do you think now's the time to be eating?
I mean, they're ripe.
Should investigate.
So, yes, it is the time to be eating them. So, she's going to look around because she grabbed a good handful of them, and she's going to walk around with the strawberries and she's going to start kind of going around maybe towards the other side in the back to investigate.
Grumbly sees her heading towards the back and sort of shuffles his little dwarf legs to follow because he's easily led.
Okay. You
And
guys
how
will
are
make
you,
it. You guys will make it around the back in time to see basically a similar farmyard to the back. A little chicken coop stands off to one side, and next to the back wall, and a little bit to the right of that, you see the back door to the farmhouse, which again stands open.
Should we go inside the house to see if maybe he is grabbing supplies to run with?
Of course, let's go. So
Okay.
Grumbly just starts walking up towards the back entrance.
So Grumly and Truly have boldly entered through the back door, at which point the second half of our double team need to decide what they are going to be doing.
Going to investigate out front and go to the front door slowly.
Okay. So you ease your way up to the front door. What are you going to do when you kind of get there and peer within?
I'm going to draw my sword so that if anything were to jump out at me, that I would be prepared to respond.
Okay.
I slowly open up the door further.
Yep.
And I step inside.
Okay.
And I just look around.
Okay. Roll either investigation or perception, whichever you're best at.
Alright, so we're going to roll for investigation. That is a 10.
Okay. You
sorry, 12. It's 12.
12. Okay. You make your way in through the front door. You kind of see what really looks like a relatively neatly kept cottage. The only kind of things that seem to be a little bit out of place is there's a dining chair that's been knocked over and some dishes kind of cracked on the floor from the table. The hearth kind of there's a fire that had been there, but it's obviously burning. It's now reduced to embers with nobody to kind of take care of it. There is near the back door, just inside it, a woodcutter's axe that lies on the floor, and next to the back door, sort of leading through it, underneath the feet of a slightly clueless-looking dwarf and a slightly bored-looking tiefling, are what look for all the world like the marks of something having been dragged out of the door.
Oh shit.
Couldn't resist the back door, could you?
I'm sorry, this is exactly where the main clue is it not?
Just
The back, sometimes the back entrance is the only entrance. Just remember that.
Is that option? Is that once a month?
Right. And as you stand there talking and bickering, from the rafters of the cottage, there is a sort of clicking noise, and then suddenly, with a squelch, something flies down from the ceiling, and Grumbly finds himself encased in silky web filaments, and he is stuck in place, as totally catching you by surprise from the rafters emerges a spider that is about the size of a small pony. And it hangs in the rafters, having fired this web at Grumbly, and hisses at you. And at that point, I need you all to roll for initiative, please.
You're when that happens, Truly is going to go shit and drop all her strawberries.
Which dice do I need to roll?
The
big
big
one.
one, and add your dexterity modifier.
21.
I
God.
got a whopping 4.
19.
The mayor just never pays attention.
Apparently, she's as freaked out about spiders as I am. I don't know. Oh,
Mhm.
God.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God.
Stop posting that emote in chat.
I got a 19 plus 2. 21.
21.
Yeah, same.
Oh,
21.
good God, that.
Okay, so we'll go to Grumbly first. So Grumbly, there is a horrible-looking spider in the rafters, about sort of 8 feet above your head or so. It's probably sort of about 10 feet away and up, but it has hit you with a web, and you currently find yourself restrained, which means you cannot move. Okay. Anything that attacks you is going to have advantage, and any attacks that you make are going to have disadvantage. Now, you can at this point, obviously, therefore, make a normal attack if you want against the spider. The alternative is that you can try and get out of the webbing somehow.
Right. Grumbly's going to try an old trick that he's got up his sleeve. The cap of his mighty weapon flicks off, and there's a little blade in there, just for these sort of situations. And he's going to try pull the bladed weapon up to try and cut some of this stuff, but he's also looking over at Truly and Adrian and Demea with shock, like, get me out of here.
Okay.
Can
So at which point you can go ahead and make an attack. If you go ahead and roll your d20
That's
and
my
add
big
your
one.
that is and add, but you're going to need to roll it twice and take the lower of the two rolls.
Four.
Okay. You add your strength modifier to that, which makes it a 7, but that is still not enough. So essentially, you are kind of stuck in this web, and it's just a bit too awkward. So you've got this kind of little blade, and you're trying to cut the strands, but you just can't get enough of a twist to get a hold of enough of the strands to get yourself out of there. So you are stuck, basically, for this turn. Truly, it is your go.
So, she's not entirely sure what she can do as far as the web at this moment, so what she's going to do is maneuver herself in front of Grumbly to basically give him shield, so that he's not the one that's attacked. She's very protective of her friend, and she is going to throw out her hand at the spider, and I feel like that's not the way to go. She's gonna cast Firebolt in the wooden house. This is gonna be great. No, it's fine. Ooh, nat 20.
Okay, nat 20. Okay, so you get to roll the damage dice twice for Firebolt.
Nice. Alright. There's the 10. Okay, so 0 is 10, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. That's 19.
Okay, so basically this big gout of fire kind of engulfs the spider. It's quite a quick spell, so it kind of flashes out this fire. So it's not long enough to set the building you're currently standing in completely on fire or anything like that. It just sort of washes over this creature and kind of dissipates. And as it does, encasing your arm, because you obviously were so kind of concerned for your friend, you obviously cast that with a little bit of extra oomph in it, which is why it hit so hard. But the kind of level of effort leaves your hand kind of encased in a now kind of familiar kind of colourful sheen that bursts apart in a series of colourful sparkles. And at that point, I'm going to need you to roll a d20. And then I'm going to need you to roll it again.
No. No.
Hey, come on now. Tell us what the dice say.
It's in the
Okay.
Go ahead.
So,
Take it away, friend.
okay. So there is a flash of colourful sparkles. Okay. Demea and Adrian and Truly, you suddenly feel overwhelmed by an urge to take everything incredibly seriously and be really overly sensitive and emotional about just about everything, really. And at the same time, there is an even quite larger flash of light that streaks from the tips of Truly's horns out into the room, and where before there had been 4 brave adventurers, a tiefling, a human-looking male, another tiefling, and a dwarf encased in a web, now stand 2 noble tieflings, albeit a little sensitive, a broody-looking broody man, and a goat trapped in a web.
Grumbly, I'm going to get to you in a minute. I'm going to take care of you. Do not worry. I am so concerned about you. Oh my god.
I'm sorry.
Truly,
What
are the tips of your horns okay? Are they all right?
What happened to Grumble? Oh my god, what happened to my friend?
God. What are we gonna do? My god. This is.
Where did this goat come from? I don't know.
I'm sweating so much. I'm sweating so much. Oh my god.
Poor Grumbly.
I'm worried. Is the spider okay?
Goat.
Is it all right?
Who are you, goat? Where did you come from? What did you do to my friend?
Oh my god. I just need everyone to calm down. I'm a little overwhelmed right now.
You're overwhelmed.
Where did Grumbly go?
My only friend
Grumbly was in
is
the web.
a goat.
And now there's a goat. Wait, Grumbly is the goat?
I don't
Now,
know.
a
Honestly,
reminder-
he's just there.
A
He's
reminder
just there where
that
he was.
the goat can speak.
Wait, he's a goat? He's the goat? Help! What? Wait, where did he go? Now there's just a goat, and Grumbly's gone. He was attacked by a spider. I don't know if the spider's okay. Is the goat
Why do you
okay?
care about the spider? What about my friend? The spider doesn't matter.
I don't know where he is, but the spider's here. I'm concerned about that because it's here right now.
I don't mean to overwhelm anyone, but Adrian, it is your turn.
Okay, I'm going to use command, and I'm going to try and calm the spider down. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use command on the spider.
What?
Okay.
Why do you care the spider so much.
Okay. Okay, I'm just don't worry. I'm gonna. It's okay. I got this. I've
This
got this.
goat is scaring me. It's talking behind me.
Okay,
So
so you use command on the spider.
I'm going to ask it to drop the goat.
It doesn't have.
Okay, so what does it look like when Adrian casts a spell? This is something we've not really seen from him before.
He reaches out his hand, his right hand, and he stares at the spider in the eyes, and he's just, drop it now, drop it, drop it, drop it. You can do it. Drop it, drop it.
What? Wait, are we under the impression that the spider has the goat? Because the goat is behind Truly.
No, the goat is on the floor encased in a web. So we can say that the spider essentially has like maybe a strand that links to the web, so it could perhaps pull the goat in, and that is what Adrian is trying to do.
Drop it, drop it, drop. Come on, drop it, drop it. And he just starts waving his hand like this to. Yeah.
Okay. At which point,
the spider into dropping.
At which point, the spider, which does not speak common, is going to take its turn and leap at Adrian's face.
Damn it.
And attempt to essentially bite his hand off. Because you're holding your hand out. So, right, so it's going to hit you. And it is going to do 10 points of damage to you. And I'm going to need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Okay. That's 5.
Well, did you add your saving throw number? So there's a saving throw to the left on the left side of the screen, and it will say saving throws.
Oh yeah.
So add your con to that.
Constitution +2. Okay, then that's a 7.
Okay, that is not enough. So you are going to take a further 8 points of poison damage. Oof.
Okay, so
it's gonna be okay, Mr. Goat. It's gonna be okay.
So,
Demea, we then come to you.
Okay. Well, I just saw a friend turn into a goat. And my other sort of friend got bitten. So what I'm gonna try to do is I'm gonna go try to heal him. Using... Wait. I do have healing word. Cool. Using healing word.
Okay, you can go ahead and cast Healing Word.
7 hit points total back.
7 back for you there, Adrian.
So what was it the first? I had 10 and then 8 poison?
Yeah, 10 and then 8, so you were down to 2, and you've now got 7 back. Okay, now Demea, that was only your bonus action, so you still have your action left if you'd like to do something with it.
Yes. I would like to use Guiding Bolt on the spider.
Okay, yeah, absolutely you can.
Because I'm really furious that the spider bit my friend, so now I'm gonna do that. Wait, do I have to roll a hit dice first?
You will have to roll to hit, yes.
Okay, yeah. 17.
Okay, that will hit. You can go ahead and roll your damage.
Let's see. 15.
Okay, so the spider, which is basically sort of clamped onto Adrian's like arm, having like savagely bitten him and is sort of pumping poison into him. And you, what does it look like when Demea casts Guiding Bolt again? Just remind us of that.
Yeah, so she's gonna like raise her free hand that's not holding her warhammer, and it's gonna be this very bright pale light in the bottom, in the palm of her hand, and she's gonna like just thrust her hand out at the spider and unleash the bolt.
Okay, and at which point this bolt of kind of blinding light lashes out from your hand and it smacks into the spider, and it basically causes the spider to explode, and horrible spiderish ichor squelches everywhere around the interior of this neat little farmhouse, particularly over Adrian, because of course it was on him at the time.
Oh my
But
god.
nobody gets away. Nobody gets away unsplattered. But out of all of the people who get a splattering, very much Adrian's is the most splattery.
Why are you always so gross, Adrian? It's so icky.
I'm just really, really upset about that. What is my tailor gonna think? What is he gonna?
At this point, I'm going
we
to
need to
leave
think
you all
about
to
that first.
oversensitively react to being spider splattered, and I'll be back in a moment.
I'm so
Mr.
terribly
Goat,
sorry that I saved your life. Like, how dare you be upset about your clothes?
No, I'm not upset. I'm close. I'm
Mr.
upset
Goat!
about the person who has to clean them. Oh,
You guys-
I'm so sorry.
wait,
Oh, that poor person
Hold
has
on.
to clean them.
we have
Yes.
to, we have
Oh,
to,
yeah, the goat.
we have to free the goat, and we have to go find Grumbly. Something happened to my friend Grumbly.
But
What's
if
going on?
Grumbly, if Grumbly was in there, like, doesn't that mean that the goat is Grumbly? I don't know. I don't understand.
I don't know, but it's talking. This is a weird talking goat. And I know that my friend wasn't a goat before. He was a dwarf. Can we just cut him out?
But can we yes, I think we have to check on the goat. We have to check on it. We do.
Let's take good care of the goat until we can find Grumbly.
Grumbly would want us to do this.
Somebody
Yeah,
wipe
yeah.
this
We have to
out my eye. Somebody wipe this out my eye. I can't do it with my hoofs. My
You
hoofs.
can talk.
I can't.
It's
The
a
man,
weird.
My eye.
I told you it's a really
can you
weird
wipe the
talking
goat's
goat.
eyes?
Okay, I'll wipe it off. I'll wipe it off. I'm
God.
so sorry, goat. I'm so sorry that I got this
No,
stuff on you. I'm so sorry.
But do it gently. Do it gently. Gently.
Okay,
It's gotta be-
gently.
Truly is slowly cutting the web off of the goat as gently as possible and just going, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay, Mr. Goat. It's gonna be okay.
Thank you.
Don't talk to me, it's so creepy.
No, you talk. If you want to talk, you talk. You just let it out. You let out all the emotions. If you want to cry, that's fine. It's okay to cry. Crying gets the sad out.
I just want to. Grumbly just sort of collapses down on his hoofs. Very despondent looking. Very sad looking goat.
You are now free of the web,
goat
by the way.
Sad. The goat is sad. It's a sad goat.
Does anyone have any garbage that we can give to him? Anyone?
Garbage? Why would we feed it garbage?
He might be hungry. Goats eat everything. Does he
She's-
want grass? Garbage?
Truly is
Anything?
going to scoop up the strawberries that she dropped when she, saw Grumbly, the real Grumbly, be webbed. She's going to scoop them up and offer them, like, shakily to the goat. Are you hungry?
I'm just going to start nibbling away at these strawberries. Thank you.
You guys, we have to go help the woodcutter and maybe Grumbly, because I'm not convinced that this is Grumbly. Grumbly's not a goat!
Yeah, wait.
I thought Grumbly ran. I don't think. Do you think Grumbly was the spider?
Grumbly's not a spider! Adrian!
Are you sure?
Grumbly's not a spider either! Adrian, he's a dwarf!
The goat is traumatized. I don't know. This is all a lot to take in. This is so much. And I'm just really trying to have a good day. And I'm just really, really, really sad. Okay?
You're sad. You're sad. Grumbly's my only friend.
I can see why. Actually, I can see why.
Guys, none of you guys are being so loud that the goat can't get words out. It's trying to speak, okay? Let him speak.
Why is he trying to speak?
It's weird that he's speaking.
Well, I don't know. Shut up and it might shut up and listen and it will tell us, okay?
Okay, you go ahead, talk. Go ahead, Mr. Talk.
At this moment, Grumbly's belly, now being a goat's belly, is starting to grumble, and he feels that he needs to go outside and do what goats do best. So he just takes his little trotters and trots out the back of the building and sits down to, yes, make a mess. Looking very sad, covered in spider goo.
Well, okay, Adrian, you got hurt earlier. I saw that, and I'm sorry you got hurt. I don't like you
I'm sorry too.
at all, but I don't want you to be hurt. So, if you want to stay with Mr. Goat, I can go take Demaya and look for our friend and the woodcutter. And we'll call you if we see anything. We won't find
But
anybody.
what if we get what if we get ambushed along the way? I don't want to be ambushed. We might end up hurt too.
Oh god, I don't want to be hurt. That sounds terrible. We'll go slowly. We need to protect the goat, and you need to heal up.
I think we need to take the goat with us. All right, he's our friend now. Okay.
Are you
The goat
gonna?
is our friend.
Is he your son too? Like the sheep?
No, he's not my son. He's not my son. But if we leave him, it'd be very bad if we did that. And I'm sorry. I don't.
Are you part goat too?
We have to take the goat is now one of us.
Why are you always like
Okay.
one with animals? It's really weird, man.
We take the goat with us. We find a woodsman, and then we find where Grumbly is, and then we all just skip down the road, go back to town, and we have whiskey.
What if
Can
you
we just do that, please?
What if you get hurt again? What if you get hurt again? Can you even take that? What if something happens to you? I don't even
I'm
like
not concerned
you.
about me. I'm concerned about the goat.
I don't even like you, but I don't want you to die.
Having done his business, Grumbly comes trotting back in again, looking most bemused, looking around and going, "Guys,
You're
guys,
gonna
it's
come with us,
me.
right? You're gonna come with us, my little hoop friend. You're gonna come with us.
It's me. It is Grumbly."
Grumbly is the goat. That's what I was trying to tell you earlier, but you guys refused to listen to him. How do you think Grumbly
You
feels that
magic
you guys weren't
users are
listening?
crazy. Brr.
Oh, this actually might be a little bit my fault. Okay. I'm so sorry.
I was thinking the same thing.
Don't make me feel worse, you bitch! She's just gonna break down and start sobbing.
Yeah. And at that point, Grumbly, I'm going to ask you to make a Constitution save, please.
Is that my big D again?
It is.
I know nothing. I know nothing. Not like you nerds, you know.
It's your big D.
Ho ho. 19.
Okay. So at which
Lucky
point,
dice today.
at which point you feel a sort of strange sensation washing over your goat body. The frankly ridiculous outsized horns that you had on top of your head morph back into the head of an enormous hammer, whose shaft you are clutching tightly. You find yourself on your hands and knees in the farmyard. Everything appears to have returned to normal, with the possible addition that your beard perhaps looks a little wispier at the end than it once did.
What the? What? What happened?
You got turned into a goat.
Yeah, you were a goat. You were a friend of ours, and we were going to take you with us.
Truly's
This
still
all
just
sounds
kind of sobbing
great.
uncontrollably on her knees.
Just kind of goes in and tries to group hug everybody. It's okay, guys. It's okay.
I'm just curious. Are you going to finish those strawberries?
Oh man, here, have
Yeah,
some.
Yeah, I'm emotional right now, and I'm just trying to gather myself. And strawberries are good. You're right about that, Truly. Okay, yeah, strawberries are good. This is a good time for strawberries.
Grumbly's going to look over at Truly because she knows that she won't approve of me handing out strawberries.
No, she's too busy crying still. She's too busy crying to notice anything. She doesn't even know that you're not a goat anymore.
Are you okay? Thank you for the healing.
You're welcome. It was so stressful seeing you being bit by that spider. Like, are you okay?
No, there's a weird tingling sense in my head that I feel that. Do you think I have powers? Do you think that's how that works?
Because you got bit?
Yeah. Yeah.
Does that happen?
But
And then you're gonna hear
I read a
amongst
book
the
once.
the sobs, you're gonna hear Truly going, "That's stupid."
You're stupid. Thank you for the strawberries that you didn't give to me. Yeah, thank you for having them.
What are you talking about? That's weird. And she's just gonna go, hey, Grumbly, when'd you get back? Then she's gonna just kind of hold her knees and just kind of rock a little bit.
Demea's gonna try to calmly be like, Adrian, I'm pretty sure the tingling in your head is maybe leftover of poison. So just take deep breaths, okay? You'll be okay. You'll be okay.
You're trying to tell me that I'm not getting powers?
I don't think so. Not from the spider, anyways.
That could explain the dizziness and why I saw Grumbly turn into a goat. It's because I was poisoned. Okay, so that makes sense now. He turned into a goat because I was poisoned. It was just my I was seeing things. Oh, okay. Well, what must we do to fix this?
You guys, there's always poor woodcutter. It looked like he might have been dragged out of his own home.
Seeing goats. I'm more concerned about the goat seeing thing that I've got going on right now.
We all saw it, Adrian. Okay,
Were we
you're
all
not the
poisoned?
only one here. You're not the only one here.
Wait, were we all poisoned?
Grumbly actually turned into a goat. He turned into a goat.
You guys, I don't want to talk about it.
Wait,
Let's just. Can we
if
just?
seeing the goat wasn't because of the poison? Does that mean I could still possibly get powers? Is that?
Shut up, Morningwood. It's not always about you. We need to go help this poor man and his weird little cute family.
I gotta see if we could do with this poison thing first. Then.
Do you have any healing potions? Cause I'm getting kind of tired from the spells I've used.
Should we rest while that poor man suffers?
No, I think we should go after the poor man. We shouldn't let him suffer like we've suffered.
Okay, well, if What? I suppose we could just walk slowly, and maybe that will give enough time to rest a little bit. We'll just walk slowly, but we need to go in the direction of where he was dragged.
We do.
Grumbly's got this overwhelming urge to trot for some reason.
Okay, so you guys are going to try and follow the drag marks, is that right?
Oh
Yes.
yeah, baby.
Very, very
Okay.
upset, please.
And slowly.
I am going to need you all to try and make a survival check, please.
That my big D again.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
And then in your list, you'll see in the middle of your screen there's a list. At the bottom it says survival, and then add whatever number to the right of the word survival is to the number you roll.
So it's your wisdom modifier.
12
I got
for me.
5.
6.
Dice is on fire today.
So 5 for the mayor, 6 for Adrian.
12
An
for me.
18 plus thing is.
Oh, 7. 7 because plus 1.
7. Okay. Trudy, what did you get?
12.
12. Okay. So while Adrian and Demea basically are trying to look for where the drag marks go, but just periodically they sort of find they're getting a little bit confused, and whenever they get confused, that makes them upset, and then they just have to stop for a little while to pull themselves together, and then at that point, I mean, it's just everything's going wrong, and I mean, why does everything keep going wrong? Yeah, so they're not doing very well there, and Truly it actually is figuring out quite well how these drag marks are going, but Grumbly is a dwarf, and he has sort of an affinity for reading kind of dirt and stone and so on, and he just goes, oh, it's that way, and kind of strides off, following these drag marks fairly easily. You basically are able to follow this through the woods. The drag marks through the undergrowth are fairly obvious. They go for quite a way though. You find yourself kind of traveling sort of a good sort of you reckon at least a good quarter mile from the farmhouse deeper into the woods. Until the earth begins to sort of slope upwards, and within the woods there is sort of like a hillside where the kind of the ground kind of rolls upwards and away from you. Off to your left, there the hill kind of goes down towards the forest floor and actually carries on going down into like a ravine that heads off to the north and west. But up in the face of this hillside, about 20 feet up a steep slope, you can see the drag marks actually on the face of this this sort of earth bank, leading to a cave about 20 feet up. You would need to climb up there somehow to follow the drag marks.
How steep is it?
It's pretty steep. You're gonna either need to sort of clamber up in some sort of kind of dexterous way, or you're just gonna need to brute force haul your way up. But there's no jumping and there's no walking. Let's put it like that.
Grumbly seems to be led on by this affinity of sudden sort of mountain goat affinity, and he's just sort of quite easily going up this slope.
Okay, I'm going to say therefore, Grumbly, that you can go ahead and make for me an athletics check, which I will give you advantage on.
A big D.
Because of your fantastic goat powers.
Spider goat? Spider
Spider
goat.
goat does whatever a spider goat does. No. Oh, my dice has let me down now. That's a 3.
Well, hold on. You get
Don't
advantage.
forget you have advantage, so you roll twice and take the higher.
Yeah.
What to tell me these things? I'm not a nerd. 10.
10, and you need to add 5 to that because of your athletics modifier. because Grumbly is a strong sort of chap.
Okay, so 15. Yeah.
So you end up with 15. So you are able to clamber up this slope fairly easily, as you say. You basically move up the slope hand over hand, and end up finding yourself at the entrance to a cave that appears to recede back into the rock. It's dark in there, but with your dark vision, you can see it goes about 20 feet back before widening out a little bit.
Grumbly's going to look back and just check and see if the emo crew behind him are doing okay getting up there, because he's got a bit of rope just in case.
Okay, Truly, how are
Tru-
you approaching this problem?
Truly is going to probably attempt to climb it, just by doing a rock climbing type thing, looking for something to hold on to and make her way up. She is not used to this type of activity. It's not really in her wheelhouse. It's not something she's had to do a lot before, but she's also still not used to exactly asking for help, so she's going to attempt to climb.
I will let you make either an acrobatics or an athletics check, whichever comes more naturally to Truly.
That's a good old-fashioned 6. So, she...
Okay. Did you add your +2 for acrobatics?
Yes,
to
I
that?
did.
You did. Okay. So, do you remember the bit in Frozen 1 where, like, Anna's trying to climb the mountain and, like, she's, like, hanging off, like, about 2 feet up?
This is fine.
Yeah. That's basically Truly right
I'm, like,
now.
halfway up this thing. It's fine.
Okay. Demea, what's going on while Truly is stuck on a rock face?
Nemea, being highly oversensitive and over-emotional at the moment, is also going to attempt to climb the hill because she wants to prove that she can do something.
All right. Athletics or acrobatics? Hey, you turned a spider into goo. Don't run yourself down.
I rolled a nat 1.
Okay.
Whoops. Oh, no.
So
you just basically hug my butt?
So basically, Demea starts to climb, but is so like overly sensitive and emotional that she basically gets about 2 feet up and then looks over at Truly and is like, "Are you okay?" But she hasn't like got a secure hold, so she's literally like sliding in slow motion down this rock face as she's sort of asking if Truly's okay, and just finds herself standing on the ground again. Adrian, it's your turn.
Well, clearly we're going up this hill, so I'm going to do the same. My poison self and all, but because I really think I have spider powers. I think that's how that works. So I'm gonna go up the hill. And
Okay.
then maybe pull people up.
You can go acrobatics or athletics. I think Adrian is more an athletics sort of guy.
Yeah. Yep. I'm gonna go with athletics. That's a 19.
Okay, yeah. The power of positive thinking is clearly working for Adrian because he easily climbs the wall and stands at the top, kind of looking at his hands, going, "Are these the hands of a spider?"
They must be. Ugh, I knew it. I told you. I told you. I got spider powers. It's worked. It's a thing.
All right. So at this point,
Believe me.
what are we doing? How are we going to get the tieflings? Tieflings apparently not natural climbers. We are discovering at this point in our session.
We're too sad to be good climbers.
That's what it is. You're just so sensitive.
Yeah.
You can't climb. That's what it is.
Oh gosh. Truly's gonna
Nemea's just gonna
let go of the walls, and she's not high up. She's just gonna land, and she's just gonna be like, Grumbly, do you maybe have a rope?
I do. Hold on a sec, dear. Grumbly's going to take his rope out and wrap a bit round his wrist and just drop the tail end down for his tiefling friend.
At which point, I'm going to ask Grumbly and Truly to both roll athletics and tell me what the scores are.
Oh, damn it.
Is this a 2 again? Do I have to roll 2?
No.
Oh,
That's an 11.
Okay.
balls that up. Hold on. That's a 3.
Oh,
Were you
God
adding your
damn it.
Were you adding your 5?
No, so that's
8.
8. Yeah.
Okay. At which point, you do just about manage to haul Truly to the ledge, but you don't manage to do that quickly enough that you will be able to help Demea this round.
Okay.
Demea, how are you going to try and get up the hill this round?
Well, as Truly was being hauled up by Grumbly, she was just sitting at the base of the hill crying. And then she's gonna just wait for the rope to be free because she doesn't want to try again.
Okay. Adrian, what are you doing in all this?
I'm going to grab the rope and help Grumbly pull up Demea now that he has Truly up.
I like that I'm at the edge before you decide to jump in. Thanks, bro.
So, Adrian and Demea, I'll ask you both to roll athletics then. Adrian, I'll give you advantage on your roll.
That's 18.
I got 12.
Okay, you haul the mayor up in reasonably short order so that no further time is lost. Okay, at which point you find yourselves at the entrance to a cave. You all have dark vision, so you're all able to see that about 20 feet back this cave widens out and goes around a slight bend, so you cannot see any further than that. What would you like to do?
There's only one way we can go. In.
Slowly.
But cautiously. Because I'm still traumatized from being turned into a goat.
Well, I mean, I have spider powers apparently, so I mean, it still feels a little weird. But and this is, I was still a little emotional with the drag mark thing, and that's fucking with my head. But you know, seeing Julie struggle as she did, that has brought me a little bit of joy and comfort. So, I agree. I think we need to go in. I'm with you.
You don't have spider powers. You fuckhead. You don't have spider powers!
Well, maybe if you got bit by the spider, you would have been able to climb that hill, you know?
Or I would have been poisoned! Or you could just get over this idea that you have spider powers. That's not how this works.
I have spider powers. I can do whatever a spider can.
I hate you so much.
It's amazing. And spectacular.
Demaya, anybody, you could have run into anybody at that job board. Why him? Why did you bring him into our lives?
Excuse you? How is it my fault? He was at the board first, okay?
Why didn't you just throw a lightning bolt at him or something? You could have taken the work and just ran with it.
I couldn't do that because some dickhead is accusing me of killing my mentor, okay?
What?
Okay?
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't know that he was also accusing you of killing your mentor. He's a piece of shit. Oh, God.
No, not Adrian.
Oh, he's still a piece of
different
shit.
dickhead.
He's still a piece of shit.
I can hear you because of the heightened spidey senses that I have.
I have ears. What the hell? I'm just gonna go in the cave now, okay? Like, God.
I'm so sorry, Tobias. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. It's not your fault that this dickhead is with us, and that he thinks he has spider powers. It's not your
All
fault.
right. So, at which point, with much grumping and moaning and oversensitive sobbing, you make your way down the tunnel. A few feet from the entrance, you begin to notice that the rocks on either side of you are draped in web-like filaments, and in a few places, some larger webs are kind of strung in corners, that sort of thing. You get about 20 feet into this cave. You're able to kind of see around the corner. The cave kind of widens out into a much larger cavern, probably about sort of 40 feet square. On the near the far side of the cavern, what you can see is a spider about the same size as the one that you fought in the farmhouse, and it is just kind of putting the finishing touches on wrapping a fairly large cocoon around something, so encasing something in silk. There is like a big long tendril of silk that stretches from the top of this bundle up towards the ceiling, and there are one or two similar smaller bundles strung up from the ceiling in other places around this cavern, but the filament of this one stretches up towards the ceiling, and about 20 feet above it reaches a ledge where a spider about half the size of the one on the ground has begun reeling it in, and is kind of gnashing its pincers in a fairly enthusiastic way. What would you guys like to do? And at that point, I'm going to ask you to roll for initiative before you tell me what you would like to do.
Do we have advantage on sneaking up on these creatures, or do they know we're here?
No, because you literally just walk down a passageway going, "Oh my god, I can't believe it! This is so horrible."
You don't have
So
spider powers.
you were in no way sneaky.
Okay.
You were literally walking down a corridor, sobbing at each other and calling each other fuckhead. So you do not get advantage.
That's a 9 for truly.
Sploosh.
21 for me.
That's a 10.
14. Doing me proud tonight, guys.
Truly, what did you say you got?
9.
I got a 10.
Okay. All right. So, Demea, you're up first. What would you like to do?
I would like to have more spell slots. She's gonna pull out her crossbow and shoot at the
Okay.
big one, I think.
All right. That is fine. Look.
Dory. I rolled
That
a
is fine.
21.
That's definitely going to hit. You do have a spell slot left, by the way. I do feel I should point that out. I know you might be saving it, but I'll just make sure you are aware.
I am aware. I'm just sad it's only one.
Sorry. Who are you shooting at? Are you shooting at the bigger one on the ground, or are you shooting at the little one up on the ledge?
The bigger one on the ground.
Okay. Go ahead and roll damage for me then, please.
Ooh, 9.
Okay. At which point, I'm going to have to roll a d3. At which point, the bigger spider, having been hit by this crossbow and it realizing there's something behind it, is going to turn around, and it is going to skitter across the chamber, and something seems to draw it towards Adrian. Maybe it recognizes its own kind. Who knows? But it does. So it's going to attempt to give Adrian a bite,
Son of a bitch.
and
I-
it's going to hit, and it is going to do 7 points of damage.
Oh no.
And Adrian, you are going to need to make a Constitution saving throw, please.
Sorry. I'm a good kitty.
16.
Okay. At which point you are going to take 1 damage
Oh, total from the bite.
total from the poison. Yep.
Okay.
All right. And at that point, it is then Grumbly's turn.
Grumbly's kind of stood there, eyes twitching, remembering the time he was a goat. But he's also ready to get a little bit of revenge. So he's going to start charging towards the largest one that's closest to him. Swinging his mighty hammer and going for a headshot.
Okay.
Because you
Go
should
ahead.
always go for the head.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mhm.
let's roll the dice and see if you manage to get
My
head.
big one.
Your big one.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mock his big D.
Roll big. Roll big.
A 7.
Well,
Okay. What do you have? Have you added your bonuses to hit on that?
Don't ask me nerd questions.
You're playing Dungeons and Dragons. Stop trying to avoid the fact you're a nerd.
lean into it.
Supposed to be added. What am I adding?
You're adding +5.
His hit DC. Is that what you're?
Yeah,
With his
okay. I
warhammer,
need
yeah.
to get my D&D thing up. Right, okay. So 12 then.
Okay, that is not going to be enough. So you kind of whoosh your mighty weapon, but for whatever reason, maneuvering something so big and powerful appears to just, be a little bit awkward for you, and therefore you slightly end up waving it over the thing's head rather
Yeah.
than actually
Grumbly's
striking
thinking.
it with anything.
Grumbly's thinking his time as a goat's shaking him a little bit. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Thanks, truly. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, you don't
At which
know
point, the
don't.
baby spider is going to recognise that Demea is a bit of a threat, but it's going to decide that it is hungrier than anything else, and it is going to pull up the cocoon-wrapped bundle by a few feet. So, it was a bit concerned about the crossbow, but it was more concerned with eating lunch. So, Adrian, it is your turn.
I'm going to also take a shot with my crossbow.
You have a spider literally stood in front of you, so a ranged weapon would be done
Well.
with disadvantage.
Unless he's shooting the smaller spider, right?
Unless it's
Yeah,
shooting this
but
one,
still, you're
I'll
going to
go
get
for the one,
disadvantage
yeah.
because there's literally a spider the size of a pony stood in
Then
front of you.
I will go with the long sword then.
Okay, that's fine. Are you using any of your paladin type abilities?
Where is it? Where is it? The
For
Divine
instance,
Smite.
Something that you
the-
might be able to do with a bonus action, for instance. Yes, indeed.
Oh, yes.
But yes, you
How
could do
come he
Divine
gets
Smite if you
tips?
wanted to. Your tip was hit it with the hammer. You didn't hit it with the hammer.
Where is it? I saw it. Bonus
Mhm.
action. The Searing Smite.
You can do that. You can also spend your second spell slot to just do a regular smite, which is an extra 2d8 damage.
Alright, we'll do that then.
Okay. Yeah, your searing smite is slightly different. Your searing smite is 1d6 fire damage, but you can kind of keep that going, and it can potentially take fire damage on every round after.
Okay.
But if you like, we'll just mark off a spell slot. Go ahead and do your
Okay.
Go
I
ahead and do
rolled
your
a
longsword attack.
14,
Yep.
and with a long sword, that is 20.
Okay, that is definitely going to hit. So go ahead and roll your longsword damage. Are you doing that one-handed or two-handed?
It'd be two-handed.
Okay.
And I have to be the D8.
Your D10 for two-handed.
Oh, D10.
You get a bit of extra damage.
$40.
On a D8?
You said D10.
Sorry, on a D10. D10. So is that a 4?
No, it says 40.
Oh, yeah, but you've rolled the one that's in tens, so that's 4.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, yeah. So, no, that is fine. So you've got 4 plus your strength modifier, which is another 4, so that's 8, and then you get to roll 2d8 and add that to your 8 you already have.
Okay. One on the first roll.
Mm-hmm.
6 on the second.
Okay, so you hit into the spider. It's a really big hit. It bites into the spider's side. It's done some pretty decent damage, but the spider is still alive and still bitey. At which point it is Truly's turn.
Is she standing in front of the large spider, or is she at an angle where she could make a...
You're behind Mucky and Adrian, sort of level about where Demaya is. You're all kind of at the entrance to this chamber. You could move around so you could get on an angle with it if you wanted to. That wouldn't be difficult, because it is very fully engaged with Grumbly and Adrian at the moment.
Could I cast above its head at the smaller spider that's reeling in the...
Yes,
Okay.
you absolutely could.
Okay, so seeing it, the little one taking advantage of the group being fully engaged with Big Spider and gonna just munch on a snack, is going to just start kind of closing her eyes and trying to pull from what happened earlier that morning, and she's going to start moving her hands around, and the ball of fire is going to start forming.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Okay.
That one.
So we're going chromatic orb and we're going with fire damage from it, yeah?
Yes.
Okay,
And
that's fine.
18 to hit.
That's 18 to hit. That will hit.
Yeah. Oh, hello, darling. Mommy's gonna kill a spider. And so the fireball fully forms, and she casts it out at the little baby spider.
Okay.
And
That's 3d8 damage then.
Indeed. Roll on the dice. Go. No, go. Thank you. Good girl. That was excellent, Bonnie. Thank you. That's 15.
Okay. So at this point, fire kind of engulfs the little baby spider on the ledge, and it kind of it lets out a little bit of a sort of a horrible, disgusting, spidery shriek, and burns up. The filament that it had burns through, and the bundle that it was winching up off the floor drops down with a bit of a thunk. The big spider in front of you is clearly rather annoyed at the fact that you have just stormed into its home and killed its baby while it was eating lunch, and it hisses at you and gets a bit more chompy. And at that point, Truly, I'm going to need you to roll a d20.
Yeah, baby.
Oh no.
Thanks, Jugular. Thanks, bro.
Yep. This is our third wild magic redemption of the night. We have so far turned someone into a goat, made everybody very sensitive, and
I actually meant to talk to you about this particular one, so I'm going to re-roll it.
that's fine. We can modify.
It's the one that we had rolled the very first time we did, and we kind of thought it was a little boring.
Yeah.
So
If-
I want to
if we've
redo
got-
that
if
one
we've got-
altogether.
If we've got repeats, then I don't mind us re-rolling, so that there's a bit of variety for people who've redeemed.
Oh no. Here we go.
Okay. At which point, Truly, you cast your chromatic orb at the baby spider up on the ledge, and you remember the dream, right? You remember the dream that you had about your parents. And you flash back in your mind to your parents, who were dwarven traders, and they were always honest people, right? And they knew the reputation that tieflings had for being deceitful, and people suspect them of always being involved in crimes and so on. And as you cast this spell, these little sparkles radiate out from your hand again, and you feel something kind of wash over you, and you hear the voice of your adoptive father saying to you, "Remember, Truly, always be honest. In all of your dealings, honesty is always the best way."
After killing that spider, she feels compelled to just say, and the baby spider, did it die or did it just fall to the ground, by the way?
It has died.
Okay.
It has died, and it has dropped its lunch.
She's just gonna say out loud, kind of monotone, "I'm glad it's dead." And she's gonna look around like, oh god. Oh god.
And don't forget, you are also overly sensitive and emotional as well.
Oh, okay. Then
okay.
her saying
So-
that is gonna be, "I'm glad it's dead."
Right, Demea, we're back to the top of the round, so we're back to you.
Alrighty. Demea's gonna charge in with her warhammer and swing it two-handed.
Okay. At which point, you can go ahead and swing.
7
Total?
total.
Not enough. Okay. At which point, the spider is going to kind of is a bit annoyed that there are all of these people swinging hammers at it, So it is going to turn around and it is going to try and chomp the latest person who hit it with a hammer, which is Demea, and it is going to do so. It is going to chomp Demea quite forcefully. And Demea, you are going to take 7 points of chompy bitey damage.
To get bit. What? Like, of course.
At which point, Demea, I will remind you that you are a Tempest cleric and you have something you can do at this point, having been hit with an attack.
Yeah. What was it again?
Go ahead and look on your character sheet under reaction.
Reaction. Oh, cool.
There will come a time where I stop reminding you all of these things.
All right.
But it is not this day.
Never.
I appreciate that.
No, I mean, Mucky, never.
So when a creature within 5 feet that you can see hits you with an attack, you can use a reaction to cause the creature to make a dex saving throw, DC 13, or it takes 2d8 lightning or thunder damage, which is okay, cool. Half damage on success.
So you are going to make the spider do that, basically. Okay. So, Demea, at the same time, I'm going to ask you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Where's Constitution? 16.
Okay. So you are going to take 8 poison damage in addition to the 7 bitey chompy damage that you took.
I am not Spider-Man. Morning shade.
But as you do this, right? As you do this, you take the spider kind of chomps into you, right? And the same as Truly, right? In that Truly kind of flashed back to her dream as she cast her fireball. You flash back to your dream, and you hear the woman's voice echoing in your head, and it says, "You will learn." And that electrical charge you felt in your dream surges through you and into the spider. And you can roll damage against it. You're 2d8.
7.
And this enormous electrical current arcs out of you and out of your wound, and like it literally is glowing electric blue in your eyes as this happens, and it ripples over the spider, which spasms with the electricity and slumps to the floor, and the spider is dead.
And Truly is just gonna be like wiping tears from her eyes. That was so cool. That was really cool. Wow.
Then the man is gonna be like, "Thank you," and then sits on the floor because she's kind of in pain at the moment.
How far away from me is Demea?
She's pretty much right next to you. You're all fighting the spider.
Okay. And the spider's dead. The baby spider's dead. There was only 2 spiders, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to use lay on hands to heal Demea.
Absolutely, yeah, indeed. So you have a pool of healing with lay on hands. How much of it would you like to use?
How much damage did she take previously?
The mayor's taken 15, I think.
Oof.
Something like that. Yeah, it was like 7 plus 8, I think.
Yeah.
I'm going to give her 7.
Okay, that's fine. So, Demea, Adrian comes up to you. Well, what does it look like when you do this, Adrian?
He just kind of strolls over and puts his hand on Demea's back, and then just goes, "Heal!" Points at her.
Okay. At which point, At which point you kind of see like a little sort of flash, all of you, right, as his hand kind of connects with her back, and there's a light that kind of comes out of the hand. It's sort of like a sort of half white, half red, shall we say, light, as it not pink, because they're not mixed together, but it's like half and half, as his hand connects with Demea's back, and this sort of aura sort of seems to wash over her a little bit, and she immediately feels a lot stronger, a lot better. What are the rest of you doing at this point?
Truly seeing the heel kind of gives the little whimper of the Maya's heel looked really cool. Yours looked aggressive, but it's also kind of impressive. Oh, I can't believe I said that out loud.
What was that word that you used there? What was it? You said impressive? I impressed you. Oh. Okay.
I'm so embarrassed.
Grumbly's sort of picking himself up off the floor after his epic fail. Just sort of sat there at the floor, scratching his head, looking at all these crazy magic users, thinking, what has he got himself into?
Truly is going to kind of shamefully like shuffle across the floor to the cocoon that dropped on the floor when the baby died, and slowly start to try and cut it open gently, of course, and just kind of sit there feeling really insecure about the fact that she said something nice about Adrian.
That's fine. The cocoon is moving about, like it's obviously a person in this cocoon at this point, you know, who is kind of struggling within it. But the strands are pretty thick, and it's going to take you a good couple of rounds to cut this away. So I'm gonna keep us in initiative order for the moment, right? And I'm gonna say that Truly is currently attempting to do that. I've gone around all of you. Demea, you feel better. I'm going to come back to you. What are you gonna do at this point?
She is going to reach into a little pouch that she keeps on her belt and pull out her little brown mouse and make sure that he's okay.
Okay. At which point, Humphrey, the little brown mouse, kind of skitters up your arm, onto your hand, and up your arm, and kind of rests sort of a little bit in the crook of your elbow, and looks up at you kind of inquisitively, and twitches his whiskers, as if asking in his own mousy way if you're all right.
And just gonna like gently pat his head and be like, I'm okay. I'm okay.
All right, and then we're back to Grumbly. Grumbly, what are you going to get up to?
I'm going to go over to Truly and try and help her out. Going to whip out my little knife and start hacking away.
All right, that's fine. So you two are working on the cocoon, which will speed that up. Adrian, what are you going to do?
I'm going to go over to Truly and help her to try and get the person out of the cocoon.
Okay, that's fine. That's going to speed it up enough that he will be freed relatively quickly. At which point you kind of pull off the strands of the web, and this guy sort of is able to kind of take a deep breath because he's been so constricted by this webbing. His breathing's been quite shallow at this point, and he looks up at you as he goes, my thanks, friends.
You're
welcome.
You're welcome.
Are
He says,
you okay?
He says, "Is it? I'm fine. Did you see my family? Did they get out in time?"
Yes, they got out. We saw them on the road. We gave them some water. They alerted us about what was going on and what happened.
They were really hysterical.
You're
Very
good.
concerned.
You're good people. You're good people. Well, they were on the road.
They were running away. they were running away, and they were really upset, and they could barely talk. It was really annoying to try and get them to talk to us because they were so hysterical. And then there was a lot of stuff that happened between then and now, and your house is kind of gross now, and I don't really feel that bad about it because we had our friend turn into a goat. It was kind of horrible.
So he says, I don't know much about goats, but I know my family. They'd have gone to Faradin if they needed help. Can you take me to Faradin?
Certainly can. I'm happy to get away from webbing.
Can we have a moment just to kind of collect ourselves? There's other cocoons here. We could probably help others that need help. And, I mean, you're not the only one here, you know.
And you said, of course, you take as long as you need. So at which point, if you want to search the place, you want to search the other cocoons, you want to do anything like that, go ahead and roll either perception or investigation for me, whichever one you are best at. Tell me your results.
God.
That's a nat 20. Dirty
Rolled
20.
a nat 20. So I guess with investigation, it's 22.
Okay.
I don't know where I'm looking.
So
Six.
roll your d20, Mikey, your big dice, and
Big
then look at your in the middle. You'll see in the middle of the screen. You'll see your proficiencies and stuff. So look for
Acrobatics,
investigation
animal
and
handling,
perception.
Arcana.
Yeah, look for those two and see which number is higher on the right of those words. Investigation or
So
perception.
Added up, that makes 13.
13. Cool.
Okay. So you find essentially in the cocoons the bodies of a couple of dead kobolds and a dead human. You're not sure who he is or where he would have come from. The kobolds each had some small coins on them, and the dead human had a couple of small pouches on them. Between the four of you, you have recovered you have discovered 40 gold pieces.
Each or
Right, no, this is between the four of you. So I'll leave it. I'll tell you. I'm going to say that Truly found the coins and Adrian found the gems because you guys had the best results. Okay, Truly, you have found 40 gold.
okay. She's going to split it amongst the crew equally.
Right, that's 10 each then. 60 silver.
As equal as she can. She's gonna be as honest as about it as possible and let them know. Yeah.
That's right. So everybody has got 10 gold pieces. Everybody has got 15 silver that you can add to your inventory. And presuming that you're following the same lines, Truly, everyone has got 40 copper that they can add. And Truly, you have got 50 copper rather than 40.
Okay.
Okay.
She's going to give the extra 10 copper to Grumbly.
Okay, Grumbly, you got 50 copper. Everyone else has got 40. Adrian, you have found a pouch with 6 kind of deep blue mottled-looking gemstones in it.
Okay. I will give everybody a gemstone as well.
Okay, so everyone's got 1, and Adrian's got 3.
And I will actually give an extra to Demea.
Okay, that's fine. So Demea's got 2, Adrian's got 2, Truly and Grumbly have got 1 each.
Did you say blue?
That's little, blue
Deep
mottled
blue, deep blue.
gemstones.
I'm gonna just
That's
add a
right,
blue
chat.
gem.
We've entered the maths portion of the evening, where the party have to do battle with quantities of coinage, which, as we all know, is the real enemy. Okay, and at that point, you have successfully searched the spider cave, and you get out. and you're able to make the journey back to Rustwater without incident. Where are you going to head when you get to Rustwater?
Faradin's.
Yeah.
Heading to Faradin's? Okay. At which point you you walk through the door. Faradin is there, clearly trying to do his best to comfort a hysterical woman and child. You enter the front door of the shop, and Faradin turns and he
front
sees
door.
you, and Faradin has not yet shared his back entrance with you, Grumbly. Perhaps later.
Is
Um,
is the sadness still present?
No, that has dissipated. No, it is still present. Yes,
Oh,
it is.
well,
So
all right.
you are still quite sensitive at this point. You're still quite emotional. You walk through the door, and the woman and the child let out a sort of deliriously happy shriek as they see the woodcutter striding through the door behind you, looking a little bit the worse for wear, but otherwise fine. They engulf him in an enormous hug. At which point, as the child is clutched around his waist, he puts his forehead to the head of his wife, and he has her around the waist by one hand, but he puts his hand around the back of the head of her head to hold her forehead to his, and he says, "Didn't I promise? Didn't I promise to always be there to keep you warm on those cold winter nights?"
Your expression of love and affection makes me feel really uncomfortable. I'm sorry.
I think what
I'm sorry. It
she's
just
trying to say is that it has overwhelmed her to see pure love that you are displaying, and she does not know how to respond.
Morning Shade. I said what I said, and I meant it. I do feel bad about it. I feel bad that I said it out loud, but I said what I said. It hurts my feelings that you're trying to say what I really mean. I said what I meant. I said it, and you're being really rude. I don't like
Morning
it.
Shade just
Fa-
Morning
Fa-
Shade just
Farad-
standing
Farad-
there with like his hand up with one finger pointed, like he's about to say something, but he's just
Faradin at this point says, I can see this. I can see this adventure's taken a lot out of you emotionally. You have my tremendous thanks for saving Bartholomew here and bringing him back to Jessica and Emily. It's getting me emotional, I have to say. And Bartholomew turns to Faradin and says, "Faradin, you know full well you're the only one round here who calls me Bartholomew." And he offers his hand to each of you, and he shakes your hands in turn, and he says, "Most people round here just call me Woodcutter." And he looks at you and he says, "Well, back to it. Those trees ain't gonna chop themselves." And he takes the hands of his wife and child, and they exit out of the front door of Faradin's shop. And at that point, with you having successfully completed the rescue of the woodcutter, we will end our session.
Scene.
should we
And scene.
turn to the tavern and
Well,
Indeed. You can go and drink away your oversensitivity.
yeah.
Oh god.
That was really fun.
Yep.
Well done on the successful stacking of wild magic, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my
Yeah,
god, that was
absolutely.
intense.
Yeah, that was something.
I mean, we did successfully have an emotional goat, which I think has set the bar pretty high. in terms of
Yeah.
wild magic.
Oh no, he did that.
Oh my god.
Redneck's pointing out that poor guy's got to go back to a house full of spider guts.
Yeah.
Yeah, by
that's
the
his
way,
problem, you know.
we
Yeah, I mean-
exploded a spider.
they're probably happier with that than like seeing his guts all over a spider. So you know, I mean,
And a big pile of goat turd out the back.
yep.
There is that.
Like, where did this goat poo come from? What?
Who ate all our strawberries?
At least it's goat poo and not dwarf poo. So
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but what a waste of good bacon.
I mean, at some point they're going to be like, well, they were trying to save our lives or his life. They had time to sit there and eat a good chunk of the strawberries. So they're like, pick them. They're really dedicated to the task of saving people. These people.
Okay. Well, I have some experience points to deal out, but we can do that off stream in just a moment.
Sure.
So
I will keep that up then. Thank you guys for I mean, thank you to Aldous and all the players. Thank you, chat. The interaction was so much fun. We really feed off of your guys's you know, reactions to what's happening and your interests and stuff. It's it makes this so much more fun because it does feel like we're doing it to you guys, you know, doing it with you guys.
I'm not sure either of those is what you wanted.
I swear I kind of made it better somehow. Let's pretend I did.
And as Geoff's pointed out, we would love more art.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Spam
I
that
mean,
art.
come on. I mean, Mucky, the goat, the spiders, everything from this week.
The emo crew.
The dreams as well. I mean, you
Dreams,
know,
yeah.
there was some.
Yeah.
Again, it just like Krakus did. It could be art. You could do a song if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Look
if you're
how many
comfortable with
notes
us presenting
I
it.
took this session of
Whoa!
material I could draw.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
I've got a ton of them.
Wow.
I have more than I
Wow.
can add, but I do the same. Yeah.
I wish I were doing
Aqua,
that.
I think you've written more for this campaign than I have.
Can we just put your notes
Right.
down? We'll put your notes down as like art.
Did you just say put her nuts down?
I said
Pepper? Did you
notes
say put her-
down.
I think you said nuts.
I mean, hers are, you know,
Walker
rather.
just strolls in
impressive.
and just teabags, you
Yeah.
know, all the writing in
Yeah.
the campaign. You know?
Clip it.
Mark that. Aqua teabagging the
Yeah, I want this part on there especially. Check out her nuts. Her nuts are. Wait,
Oh God.
Give
Well,
them
that's
a
all
lick.
right, coming.
Ooh, they taste just like
strawberries.
I was going to say maple syrup. I needed to get a Canadian twist in
Ah,
there.
damn. Strawberry syrup? There we go. Oh my gosh. Yes, all the art. All the art. I would love. I love the stuff we've seen so far. All more the better.
Every bit of art that we've had is just a bit mind blowing. I mean,
Yes.
the song just had me in absolute tears.
It's for
I
chat.
hadn't heard it until I hadn't heard it yet. So that.
Oh, you hadn't heard it?
No.
Oh my
No,
god.
I hadn't heard it either. I had a feeling you're gonna play it this stream, so I wanted to wait.
Perfect. Yeah, I got permission on the last stream to do it, so that was absolutely wonderful to listen to again.
Yeah, cracks. That was
Oh my God.
amazing. So funny.
So for anybody in chat and for the players, well, chat is probably maybe hopefully writing it up. What were some of your favorite moments in today's stream?
And while you're typing that, I will just answer a question from Shukala, who is saying, is Penny being super honest? And I will say that that's actually the one wild magic effect from this session that we'll wrap over to next one, because we put varying durations on a lot of the wild magic, but the super honest one lasts until the next long rest. So it might only last for like the first 5 minutes of next session, session until the party decides to take a long rest, but it will actually still be in place at the start of next session. Okay. Everything else has dissipated though. Grumbly is no longer a goat, and the witnessing of the genuine emotion between the woodcutter and his family has kind of calmed everyone's emotions down to the point where they're now back to their normal state.
Good. Oh.
I gotta say, I feel bad for Truly.
And at that point, I will say that it is time for the power word. I have waited quite a long time to do it this week, but having done the last one in the middle of the session, I thought I would wait till the end for this one. And this week's power word is hammer.
And for those just now joining us, all nuts, yes. Yes. So for anybody that just now joining us, we started this last week. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. We started this last week. It's going to be over 7 sessions total. So this is the second of 7, where Aldous gives a power word. You have the option of hearing it during a live stream, or you can watch it during the VOD. But we're never going to do it around the same time. He's always going to mix it up. And then if you have all the 7 power words over the last 7 sessions, and you submit them to Aldous and you are correct in all 7 power words, you get to be entered into the drawing for some metal D&D dice to be mailed to you by yours truly. Truly. Haha. Haha.
Trust me, she had no intention of making that pun.
It's not gonna keep coming up either, I swear.
No.
So yeah, that's gonna be the word of the day for today, the power word, I should say. And Mucky also brought up, we are, for every session we have, it gets downloaded to the Time of the Wolf's YouTube channel. And so you guys can watch it there. So you know that with my
link is in chat right now.
Yeah, link is in chat. My streams only hold on for a certain period of time, so that's if you are frustrated that you didn't get to see a session, or if you missed a power word, you can always go to Time of the Wolf and see it there. Please do not share it with anybody. We want it to be an honest competition here.
Yeah, that's the power word, by the way. Don't share the power word with anybody. Share the YouTube channel with everyone
Up and down the world,
know.
everyone.
Everyone.
You know, make cards of it and walk around cities and just hand it out.
Yeah, like thrust it, into like people's faces that you see around the street. And you're just like, go to this
shove it in
YouTube
their
channel.
pocket,
I mean,
Witness
hers are,
Grumbly's mighty
rather
weapon.
Strolls in
impressive.
and describe it just like that.
That was an excellent
They
clip.
won't be creeped out.
Thank you, Shugalar. Much appreciated for the on nuts clip. Aqua's impressive teabagging nuts. I mean, maple syrup. I mean,
They're bouncing.
very happily teabagging. That's gonna be the best part. The more you share the word, the less chances you'll have. After all, yeah. There you go. That's true. Yeah, you want to be the one.
No,
to get
that's
it.
not true. They've already missed the first week, so.
Ew, poor Aqua. I'm sorry to hear about the spider. There will be arts and crafts and looks at evolves with disdain. Damn it.
Why?
I don't know. I think that there was a lot about this session that I loved personally. So it's really hard to choose any of it. I'm glad that it was Grumbly that was the goat, because that was really fun to play off of, since he was kind of webbed and he was a goat. And the idea with the goat was that we didn't always initially we're never going to initially know that that's our friend. The idea behind the goat is that we don't go we're always going to think our goat friend has returned. It's not so much we can eventually figure it out. Yeah,
a goat has appeared. They're not immediately going to put the pieces together and just go, oh, he's turned into a goat again.
Yeah, we're going to just be like, Goaty's back. Missed a goat.
And
So-
pretty much like anything to do with Penny, nobody has a single clue what's going to happen.
Mhm.
It's crazy.
The goat is like
Thank-
Gandalf in The Hobbit. He just appears every so often, and everyone's like, "Oh, he's back." Okay.
Oh, it's Goaty the White or Goaty the Gray. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Why does that goat have
You
green
shall
glowing
not
eyes?
pass.
Did you guys have
I'd
any
say-
particularly favorite part?
The first spider encounter that we had, that was hilarious because of the goat. You know,
Yeah.
me casting the trying to cast command on it and then getting bit, thinking I got spider powers, and then
Yeah.
that went throughout the entire thing.
I think that was my favorite part, was you running with the joke of being like spider paladin. You know, essentially that was quite funny. Because that I was not expecting. I really was not.
Truly, the goat thing was oh god, that whole the whole thing there. that whole
Yeah,
moment,
honestly, everything inside of that house was golden because I loved the
Yeah, the
immediate.
farmhouse was great.
Yeah, that was like
I
we
have
just
to say
kind
as
of
well-
Yeah.
unraveled with the sadness and the sensitivity.
I really quite like the roleplay you guys did in the pub, actually, over breakfast, like with Grumbly with his massive bacon fest, and truly like self-consciously like having been scrubbing the wall of the scorch mark, and you know, that kind of thing. I felt like you all took the dream sequences and ran with them in like quite nice creative ways.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, that was a great like serious moment, you know, that we had.
Yes.
It
Well,
happens
and I
occasionally.
like the bonding between Grumbly and Demea, because it's like, you know, I can feel her being like, okay, I think I can trust this guy.
Ooh. All right. New poll.
Mm-hmm.
Are you surprised?
No. But don't do it again, or I'll make the. Yeah, you know what? I'm actually gonna make the call at this point. Sorry.
She's not sorry.
I'm not sorry.
She's not
Actually, sorry. I can't lie. I can't lie.
I played Jack.
Yeah. Let's be honest. Oh God, Penny's got to be honest.
I know, right?
Oh god.
Everybody be afraid.
Nobody wants.
Hold on to your butts.
Hold on to your.
Hold to your butt.
I'm just saying, she prefers the back door. Truly prefers the back door.
Yeah.
Awkward.
That's private. So we're gonna raid Bloody Z. He's been a good friend to us. He was around earlier today doing a little lurky lurk. Big into D&D. Is just a really fun guy. Please stick around for the raid and show the love if you can. Always appreciate
Yes,
it.
please.
We will be jumping back into another session next Friday, same time, hopefully sooner because we won't have to set up cameras all over again. And then Monday's going to be a normal stream for me. We're going back into the drops for Stream Raiders. So thank you to our wonderful, descriptive, engaging DM, Aldous.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys.
Thanks everybody for being here.
Yes, thank you, chat, and thank you to the wonderful players that have agreed to join us, and the awesome storytelling that we're all doing collectively as a team. So, all right, everybody,
Really.
No,
have a wonderful day or night wherever you're at,